A couple of years ago I dug this pond because the limestone over there was sticking out of the ground, and the guy that was mowing the hay asked me if I could bury it, so I took a scoop of dirt to create a bulge over the top of the limestone, and then thought, no, I will expose the limestone since it's a cute little feature. And then I found the watercourse where it flows in heavy rain, which has been here for a very long time. Beautiful sculpted out limestone. In the dry weather this rock extends down probably about 4 feet, but my issue is too much water. So the water level is right at the top of my dam, which weeps over the top. It also leaks through because the water is higher than the gradient behind it. There's no fear of it bursting, but I want the pond bigger. It's also too shallow and the algae is just nasty. A lot of cows in the field above, and the fertilizer flows downstream. So I'm going to make it a lot bigger, but I'm not going to use the baby machine for that. I'm just going to burst the dam here, let the water out with the little guy, and then bring the big guy down. The red flags are the water level, and the only one that surprises me is the one that's up on the hill over there. It's quite a long way up the hill. So this dam here is going to be quite big. I think I'm going to bring the pond out over to here and leave like a 40-foot, maybe not 40, yeah, I think I'll do a 40-foot wide dam with a easy gradient at the back. Take some of these trees out so that I can drive down the gradient when I want to. My new road, I think, is going to cut through here so that I can avoid the dam. But it needs to be wide enough for the guy that's cutting the hay to be able to drive over the top with his equipment. So those flags over there will be where the water level is. Here is the existing soaking wet spot. So fire up the little baby, cut a trench, let the water out, and then a couple of days from now come back when it's dried out just a little bit, and sort out the dam. I think I'll put that on time lapse and have a video of me doing it. so wet. What you end up getting is no dig, because your bucket is full to the brim of dirt. Look at that. Anyway, I can still scrape my way through it. Bucket with tapered sides. This drenching bucket is really annoying. See the water in the bottom of this trench already. Clearly I'm down to where it leaks. Fast job with a little tiny machine, but it also would help if my bucket wasn't jammed full of dirt. It'll come in a minute. Then let it through in one fell swoop. That's the plan anyway. The whole thing, but since this only takes just a few minutes, it'd be cool to sit over the top of that channel, I think, burst the water through and then just sit there and watch it. quite so picky. In fact, you can see the water leaking through about a foot down the dam. Nice if I can get all of this to drain, all of this wet ground. And I could if I dug a trench the whole way, but I don't. I can't be bothered. Alright, so let's go up and burst it. I think I'm going to try and sneak up even closer. About to get a lot wetter. Ready? Here we go. Woohoo! Alright, so there's the water pouring out of the pond. Let's see where it's going behind. No, that's a big difference. But I got quite a bit of land going in this direction, so the amount of water that is held in this pond is really not that huge. So there's the brush of water finding its way through. So I'm going to cut it off for just a second, let that water dissipate just a little bit, and then drop the water level again aggressively. So to plug it up, all you really got to do is drop the bucket in the hole. It won't stop it all the way, but it'll slow it down. There you go. Slowed it down just to a trickle. Let the water behind me spread out a little bit, so it doesn't look like such a monster waterfall. It'll get soaking wet in there. Give that a few minutes, let it down again, and just keep doing that for the next sort of hour or so, and then see what it's like when it's empty. It took a few hours to drain, but now the water is out of it. And you can see the bedrock. It's a shame you can't see the bedrock when the water's in it, because it's kind of cool. But I think I will bring the bank up nice and smooth on that side. Get rid of the step that's there. Just let it graduate into the rock so that when the water's low, it remains as a feature. And then take the bank out where the quad's sitting, over to that marker there, maybe even to the second one. Put a drain in here, and put an overflow pipe as well over the top of it. I got to get Dana's agreement and get on with the second phase of the pond. Took probably 3 hours for that water to get out of that trench, and a lot longer than I thought. I thought I could almost sit there and watch it, but no. So that's how deep the water was. I seem to remember it being something like 3 feet deep, when in reality it was 5 or 6. All of that looks like mud is limestone. It is covered in mud, but it's only covered by an inch or two of silt that's washed in, clay. These are two channels between the ridges of limestone, so it's fairly deep there, and I think I might clean that out again, although it seems a little pointless. The water's not flowing down the creek, but it is flowing into the pond because it's just runoff off the hill. And I'll take all of that bank away over there, I think, and have that just graduated into the hillside, and then use all that dirt to raise the bog patch. Should have enough dirt to raise that area over there by a couple of feet, which will dry it out nicely. Even in the dry summer, it's pretty soupy. But next, I'll let it dry for a couple of days and start digging. So it's been about maybe 3 hours the other day regrading the opposite side of the pond so that it was flush with these limestone shelves that go up. There had been a drop-off, which I never did like, but for some reason hadn't thought of doing that. You can see how big of a drop-off it used to be. So that's now nice and flush. Made myself a nice big pile of dirt for the new dam, which will be twice as big. There's quite a good flow of water still coming through, which implies that the pond will fill up fairly quickly, I think. So I'm gonna put this on time lapse. I screwed up the last video really badly. Put it on a tripod over here and see if that's a better plan, which I'm sure it is. I don't know where I'm going to shove it. Maybe I'll shove it here, and that'll have a good view of everything. And first thing I'm going to do is strip the grass off where the new dam is going to go, because I don't want that natural layer under the dam leaking. So strip the grass back, make part of it over this side. Then I'll start working on the other side of the pond and dump that dirt back where the dam is going to go. So that sounds like a plan. I'll get on with it and I'll do a time lapse. Great camera positioning so that you could see what I was doing. I was thinking that I'd get as far as removing this bump, but anyway, so I've followed the rock contours down and around. Got plenty of dirt for the dam. Obviously got to remove all of this bump right here. Quite happy with it so far. More importantly, Dana is happy with it, so that is what matters. I like the way the limestone flows down. So we started with that little tiny bit at the top that's black up by that tree, sticking out of the ground. That's all we had. And Well, this is another day. We've had dreadful rain last couple of days, and I wanted to get the dam roughly laid out before we lost the chance of it filling up this spring. So I built the dam a little sooner than I should have done. I should have given the soil some time to dry in the heaps that I'd made. So I feel a little bad about that. However, it is holding water. It is bone dry behind the dam. Not a drip is getting through. And the dam level is a little high, but the plan is to give a 10-foot flat spot and then grade out the back of it. It's not too high actually. It's probably 2 feet or 3 feet higher than I was planning, because I'm going to walk over the top with the excavator and brush it back, knock it down behind, drop the level all the way across to the tree line so that it's nice and smooth for mowing and for hay and that kind of thing. But with the water sitting where it is, it gives me an idea. I like the exposed limestone. All of that mud is just about an inch deep, and all of that ground over there is similar to what's exposed at the top. So my hope was a lot of bad storms will wash the dirt down, expose the limestone, and it would be a super cool feature. In hindsight though, I'd have to keep the water level about as low as it is now for that to happen. I've got a few pieces of rock here to put around the inflow and outflow of the overflow pipe. Don't know what level I'm going to set that at yet. I want more water in it before I determine that. So we've got something like 4 or 5 days of dry weather, which will give me a chance to get up on top and sort out the dam. And then we've got 4 or 5 days of nasty rain coming again, which should work just good. So this is interesting. Water's coming right out of the ground just here. I always thought that the main channel was over there, and didn't really even give this any thought, because the old dam was right up to here. That's a discovery, because that runoff is this valley here. So all of that water goes down through the ground, hits the limestone, goes underground just here, and comes out right there. And what I think of as the main channel, just because it looks like one, has this catchment, which is a bigger valley, but has less water. That is curious. Little things please little minds, and little trousers fit little behinds. My Aunt Ivy said that one day, and it kind of stuck. There is water flowing down here, but it's nothing compared to the other one. I am curious. I will no doubt talk about this again. There's a lot of washout of dirt there from this channel. So my thought is that when it's pouring with rain and the surface water runs off, it gushes down here, takes all that debris with it. But when the water soaked into the ground and is percolating out, it comes out of the ground at little wet spots like this and little white spots over there. So I have to make some hydraulic decisions. This rock is washing off nice, so I am pleased about this. Good bit of water flowing from this upper catchment area down below. There's a rather cool spot here, if I can get to it, where the water goes under into there and then comes out of here. I think that is pretty cool. It's funny. Being the caving person that I am, I'm rather fascinated by little things like that. This is good. I am happy with how this is working out. A couple of small disappointments only. That is a next ledge. And for the pond to be a decent size, the water has got to for certain be up to where my feet are. Maybe even up to the next ledge, maybe even up to that ledge. So the water right now is probably 6 feet deep. I'd say I'm going to let it come up to about 10 feet deep. This is a little slick. But I believe I can make it. Oh, whoop, whoop. Maybe not. So, I am fascinated by the creation of ponds, hydraulic engineering to expose features. I think I'm gonna give this quite a bit more thought before I put the outlet pipe in it. I wanted this dam to be this high because the hill that I'm standing on is really quite slick. The old water level is this little marker peg here. So that is where the water was, and although you can't see past that hump, it was at the base of the water coming in. That's at least 6 feet higher than it was. The excavator track here where I slid uncontrollably into the tree. And what I'm looking at for is that there is no leak. That's surface water running down the hill, so that's good. If I dare walk across there in tennis shoes, I'll find out. Yeah, this is firm. This is good. So this is where the water came pouring out of the dam, and it's the lowest spot. And it's bone dry. Nice to see, with about 6 foot head of water. So where I'm standing, you can see my shadow, doesn't really help, but my shadow will be, because of the angle of the sun, restricted. That's 8, So 8 foot is to there. 10 foot, I'd say 10 foot high will be a good size, and I can knock 2 feet off the top and grade in the back. Decision is made. I would say this is successful. And I might sculpt out a little bit of a channel down here just for it to be through the woods. Anyway, enough of the Mammoth Mud project. A few days of dry weather and this will be awesome.